Hello and welcome back to People Skills Pro. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most subtle, confusing, and crucial dynamics in modern dating, the test. You're on a date. Things seem to be going well. The conversation is flowing, and then she says or does something that throws you off. It might be a playful jab at your shirt, a sudden mention of another guy, or a question that feels like it has a hidden meaning. You feel a knot in your stomach. You're suddenly on the defensive, unsure of how to respond. You're being tested. Now, let's be very clear about what we mean by testing. This is not a conscious, malicious game where she's sitting there with a clipboard grading your answers. The vast majority of the time, these tests are completely subconscious. They are a woman's deeply ingrained evolutionary mechanism for verifying a man's character. Her subconscious is asking fundamental questions. Is he truly confident, or is it a fragile act? Is he secure in himself, or is he needy? Can he handle pressure? Is he a man I can trust and respect? The man who doesn't understand this dynamic will constantly fail these tests without even knowing he's taking them. He will get defensive, he will get flustered, or he will try too hard to please her, all of which communicate weakness. But the man who understands that these tests are not attacks, but opportunities to demonstrate his strength, his confidence, and his unshakable inner core. That is the man who passes with flying colors. Today, we are going to do a deep dive into 9 of the most common and subtle tests women use. We will decode what she's really asking, we'll show you how most men fail, and we will give you the mindset and the strategies to pass, not by giving the right answer, but by being the right man. The core principle. You don't pass a test with a script, you pass with a spine. Before we get into the signs, you must internalize this core principle. You cannot trick your way through a character test. Trying to memorize a clever line or a comeback is like trying to put a bandage on a broken bone. The test is not designed to evaluate your wit. It's designed to reveal your internal state. The only way to consistently pass these tests is to do the real work of building a strong internal frame. This means developing genuine self-confidence, a clear sense of your own value, and an emotional resilience that doesn't crumble under pressure. When your inner world is solid, the right response will flow from you naturally, because it will be authentic. The goal of this video is to help you build that inner strength. Test number 1, the playful tease or the jab. This is one of the most common tests, especially early on. She might make a light-hearted, playful jab at your clothes, your taste in music, or a story you just told. Example: "Oh, you still listen to them. I didn't know anyone under 40 did." Or, "Wow, that shirt is certainly a choice." What she's really asking is, are you secure in yourself, or is your ego so fragile that a little playful poke will shatter it? Can you handle a little friction without getting defensive? How men fail? They get defensive. "What's wrong with this shirt? I like it." They over-justify. Well, actually, this band has a really complex discography, and their influence on the genre is they shut down. They get quiet and visibly butthurt. How to pass the agree and amplify frame. The mindset is to be completely unflappable and playful. You demonstrate that her opinion doesn't affect your self-worth in the slightest. The best way to do this is to agree with her jab and then amplify it to a ridiculous degree. Her, "Wow, that shirt is certainly a choice." You, with a confident smile, "I know, right? It's my secret weapon. It's so loud it hypnotizes people into thinking I'm interesting. Seems to be working." This response is incredibly attractive. It shows you're confident, you don't take yourself too seriously, and you can play the game of banter, which immediately elevates you above the 99% of men who would get defensive. Test number 2, the last-minute request, or the flake test. She texts you an hour before a date and says, "Hey, so sorry, something came up. Can we do tomorrow instead?" Or she asks you to change the location of the date to something that is far more convenient for her and far less convenient for you. What she's really asking: does this man respect his own time and his own plans, or is he so desperate to see me that he will let me walk all over him? How men fail. They are overly accommodating out of fear of losing her. "Oh yeah, no problem at all. Tomorrow is perfect. Whatever works for you." This signals that his time has no value and that he has no other options. How to pass the calm, firm boundary frame. The mindset is that your time is your most valuable asset. You are busy and have your own life. You are happy to accommodate her, but not at the expense of your own self-respect. Her: "Hey, so sorry, something came up. Can we do tomorrow instead?" You: "That's a shame. I was looking forward to tonight. Unfortunately, I'm already booked tomorrow. Let me know when you figure out your schedule and we can try to set something up for next week." This response is perfect. It's calm, not angry. It expresses disappointment, which is a good thing. It communicates that you have a life and are not just sitting around waiting for her. And it puts the ball firmly in her court to reschedule, forcing her to invest more effort if she wants to see you. Test number 3, the mentioning other men test. She casually brings up another guy in conversation. It could be an ex-boyfriend, a male friend, or a guy who hit on her at the bar. For example, "It's so funny, my ex used to love this restaurant." Or, "This guy at the gym asked me out today. It was so awkward." What she's really asking: is he secure and abundant, or is he insecure and jealous? Will he get reactive and see other men as a threat? How men fail. They get jealous. Their vibe immediately changes. They get quiet or sullen. They get interrogative. "Who is this guy? Is he just a friend? Do you still talk to your ex?" They start competing. They try to subtly one-up the man she mentioned. How to pass the complete indifference frame. The mindset is of total abundance. You are the prize. Other men are not your competition because they are not you. The correct response is to show so little interest in the other man that it's almost comical. Her: "It's so funny, my ex used to love this restaurant." You: nodding, taking a sip of water, completely unbothered. "Cool. Anyway, you were telling me about your trip to Italy." You don't even acknowledge the other man as a relevant piece of information. You treat it as a boring conversational detour and steer right back to something interesting about her. This demonstrates supreme confidence and security. Test number 4, the disagreement test. She states a strong opinion, especially on a subjective topic like art, music, or movies, and looks at you, waiting for your reaction. What she's really asking is, does this man have his own mind, or is he a chameleon who will just agree with me to be liked? Can I respect his opinion even if it's different from mine? How men fail. They immediately agree with her, even if they don't. "Oh yeah, I totally agree. That movie was terrible." They think agreeableness is attractive, but it's actually a sign of weakness. How to pass the respectful disagreement frame. The mindset is that a strong, confident man is not afraid of a little conversational friction. In fact, it's what makes things interesting. Her: "I think all modern art is pretentious and lazy." You, with a playful smile: "You know, I can see why you'd say that, but I actually see it differently. I think some of it is incredible. We might have to agree to disagree on this one, or I'll have to drag you to a gallery and change your mind." This shows you have a backbone and your own perspective. It's confident, it's playful, and it creates a much more engaging dynamic than just nodding along. Test number 5, the pull-away test, the silence test. You've had a great date or a good text exchange, and then she goes quiet. She takes longer to respond or doesn't respond at all. What she's really asking is he needy? Is his emotional state dependent on my constant attention? Will he panic and chase me if I take a step back? How men fail. They panic. They send the dreaded double or triple text. Hey, just checking in to see if you got my last message. Or worse, the accusatory, are you mad at me? This is the ultimate display of neediness, and it kills attraction instantly. How to pass? The mirror and magnify frame. The mindset is that you are so busy and focused on your own purpose that you barely even notice her pulling away. You are unperturbed. The action, you do nothing. You let the silence sit. You go about your life. You give her the space she is taking. You mirror her withdrawal. In fact, you magnify it by being even less available. When she eventually does reach out, and if the initial attraction was there, she often will, you respond with warmth, but not with the eagerness of a man who is waiting by the phone. Test number 6, the what do you do test, the ambition test. This seems like a simple logistical question. It's not. What she's really asking is, what is your path in life? Are you ambitious? Are you passionate? Are you a man with a purpose, or are you just drifting? She doesn't care if you're a lawyer or a plumber. She cares if you have passion and direction. How men fail? They give a boring, factual answer. I'm an accountant. I work in sales. They answer the what, but not the why. How to pass the answer with passion frame? The mindset is to communicate the emotion behind your work, not just the title. Her, so what do you do? I'm an architect, and honestly, the best part of my job is getting to see something that was just an idea in my head become a real physical building that people live and work in. It's an incredibly creative and rewarding process. Even if you don't love your job, you can answer with purpose. Right now, I'm working in finance to build up my capital because my real passion is your side hustle or dream, and I'm on a mission to make that a full-time reality. This shows ambition and direction. Test number 7, the Tell Me About Your Ex test. This is a conversational minefield. She might ask about your last relationship or why it ended. What she's really asking is he emotionally mature? Does he take ownership, or does he blame others? How does he speak about women he was once intimate with? How men fail? The bitter blamer. Oh, she was crazy. It was all her fault. The pining worshiper. She was the perfect one that got away. I'll never find anyone like her. Both are massive red flags. The first shows a lack of ownership. The second shows he's not over his ex. How to pass the brief, respectful, lesson learned frame? The mindset is one of mature reflection. She was a good person, and we had some great times together. Ultimately, we just realized we wanted different things out of life. I learned a lot from that relationship, especially about how important a specific value like communication or shared goals is to me. This response is perfect. It's respectful to the ex, it shows you take ownership, and it demonstrates that you learn and grow from your experiences. Test number 8, the indecision test. She puts the decision-making power in your hands. I don't know. What should we do? Where should we go? What she's really asking is he a leader? Can he take charge and make a decision? Or will he crumble and put the mental load back on me? How men fail. They toss the decision right back. I don't know, what do you feel like doing? This is a failure of leadership. How to pass? The confident, playful leader frame. The mindset is that it's your job and your pleasure to lead the interaction. Her. I don't know. What should we do this weekend? You. I've got it covered. There's a new jazz bar that just opened up that I want to check out. Be ready Saturday at 8. We're going. This is confident, decisive, and creates excitement. Test number 9. The compliment test. She gives you a genuine compliment. Wow, you look really great tonight. That was a really smart point you made. What she's really asking is, how does he receive validation? Is his ego so starved that he gets flustered and weird about it? Or is he a man who is used to being valued and can accept it with grace? How men fail. They get flustered and dismissive. Oh, this old shirt? It's nothing. They over-reciprocate immediately. No, you look way better. You're the beautiful one. This feels like a hot potato of validation that he's desperate to throw back. How to pass. The accept and appreciate frame. The mindset is that you believe you are worthy of the compliment. Her. Wow, you look really great tonight. You. Make eye contact, smile warmly, and say calmly, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That's it. You accept it gracefully. You don't dismiss it, and you don't immediately deflect it. You show that you have the capacity to receive positive validation without it throwing you off your center. This is a sign of a deeply secure man. So let's bring this all together. These tests are not a game you need to fear. They are a series of opportunities. They are invitations from her subconscious for you to demonstrate your character. When she teases you, she's inviting you to show your confidence. When she pulls back, she's inviting you to show your self-respect. When she asks about your past, she's inviting you to show your maturity. The path to passing these tests is not about memorizing lines. It is about doing the real internal work. It's about building a life you are proud of, developing a strong sense of your own value, and cultivating an unshakable emotional core. When you become that man, you won't even see these as tests anymore. You will simply see them as conversations, and you will navigate them with an effortless, authentic confidence that is more attractive than any scripted response could ever be. If you found this deep dive helpful, please click the like button and subscribe to People Skills Pro for more practical advice on building a better life. Thank you for listening.